Hello everyone, my name is Joshua and this is the 121st video on my video journal series. Today's date is Tuesday, the 9th of June 2026. How's everyone been? I've been pretty good, thank you. And today I went bowling with a friend of mine and afterwards we went to the pub, but it was a nice time. Certainly quite late to go bowling, but good thing is that nobody was there. And yeah, it was just a nice time out with one of my friends. And when we were at the pub, we started discussing a few things. And we just started talking about life, because we haven't caught up in a while. And obviously, it was a nice pub meal. I got a chicken schnitzel and some like steamed veggies and gravy. It was nice, and a little drink on the side. That's why I'm a little bit tipsy, but it was only one drink, and I had some water afterwards. But yeah, it was very nice time out. But we started talking about a few things, and obviously I was talking about like my career paths with this person, and obviously I've known this person for quite a while, and they started sharing tips like obviously now it's quite hard to get a job now, but you got to look at I guess where you want to go and choose your own path in life. You can go 1,000 different paths. You can go, hospitality. You can go, into politics. You can go into nursery. You can go into science. You can go into just about anything in the world, right? And for me, look, I'm a little bit still uncertain of what I want to get into. Maybe journalism or politics or something like that. Stuff that I enjoy. But yet again, there's so many pathways in life, and I think I'm at that age where there's too many pathways, or you just feel confused about which pathway to take. And obviously, throughout my conversation with this person, I started thinking a lot about just different pathways in life, and like where does life lead me? You can go your own way, like the Fleetwood Mac song, but sometimes you just feel a little bit lost. Sometimes, when you're unemployed, you're just looking around for work, you're getting knocked back, or whenever you're just at, I guess, uni, and you're like, is this right for me? When I'm studying, you might enjoy it, but you're like, does this apply to what I want to do later in life? And certainly I get those questions. Obviously, I enjoy what I'm studying. I enjoy, learning about what I'm learning. I enjoy really go into journalism and politics. It really fascinates me, but I'm still uncertain about the career path, Like, what steps do I take to get the job that I want to do? But then I have to identify what is that job I want to do? What is my end point, And listen, like, I'm 20 years old. Maybe it's a little bit, I guess, I guess I'm maybe a little bit too young to think about it, but let's face it, I'll be getting a full-time job in like 1.5 years time, not even 1.5 years. It'll be like, you know, maybe around 2028 potentially, but I can get it, I guess, my foot in the door if I look for an internship or apprenticeship, which I've been trying to do. But yet again, though, it just comes back to narrowing it down what career path I'm going to go. And my advice to all of you, even though I'm a little bit still uncertain, is in life we're often faced with a multitude of problems, a multitude of, I guess, uncertainty. Certainly, right now with the state of the world, there's a lot of uncertainty. I thought the world was very uncertain at the start of 2020, COVID, and all that, but now it seems more uncertain. In fact, it makes 2020 look a lot like a lot brighter in comparison, even though for me it wasn't. And I read an article by the ABC today. It was something about like people looking back on the year 2020, Australian Broadcasting Corporation, if you're wondering. Just about people looking back on 2020 and going, oh, 2020 was such a great time. It was a more brighter time. The economy wasn't as trash as it was now, and to some extent they are. But 2020 wasn't a great year. It was just that 2026 in terms of the economy and all that have really been like down here, and 2020 was like slightly better because that's right when COVID started to kick in, and obviously, we're not in lockdown anymore, which is good. We can socialize with people, but the economy has pretty much slumped over the years, and um, certainly it's been, I guess, evident in the job market. And obviously COVID was like one very big thing, but then 1,000 things spawned after COVID. So yeah, it is unfortunate, but I look back and I just want to talk about this ABC article for a bit, then go into like the main, you know, my main argument. But yeah, it was like obviously they interviewed a few people. They interviewed like some business owners who said, oh, we're glad we're in the year 2026 despite all these problems because 2020, we're out of business. But there are some people, what do you think about the year 2020? The year 2020, as of recording this, was 6 years ago, which I cannot believe was 6 years ago. It feels like, you know, it feels like yesterday since like 2020. I remember lockdown and all that. But they asked people, and some people said, 2026, there was a lot of uncertainty, but we'll, buying stuff online. We were staying in our door. We were staying in our home. Sorry, enjoying, our lives the best that we could because everyone just viewed lockdown as um, like a camping trip or something like that. I think I heard that from somewhere, like a camping trip. And I don't think we'll ever, like, within my lifetime at least, I don't think I'll ever go back into that sort of situation like lockdown. And I'm pretty sure most of you watching this, I don't think we'll ever experience something like COVID again or the lockdowns. But looking back, you know, I think we often forget the negative aspects of lockdown. We forget about, I guess, the fact that we couldn't really leave our homes. And I know here in New South Wales, we had like a brief lockdown in 2020, then a long one in 2021. But looking back on the 2021, yeah, that one was like pretty short, which I guess like a lot of people sort of forget about, at least here in New South Wales. I'm just talking about New South Wales. Over the world, it was different, and other states, it was different. In WA, Western Australia, they only locked down once in 2020, and then they never had a lockdown again. Um, I think same thing was with Queensland. I think Melbourne lockdown. Sorry, Victoria. Sorry, lockdown. Specifically, Melbourne was under lockdown like 6 or 7 times or something like that. And New South Wales was too. But our second lockdown, which was in 2021, between June and I think October. It was June, July, August, September. It was at least like 4 months. It was a very long lockdown, and it impacted me personally. Impacted a lot of people, a lot of my mates. But yeah, like I think people, we often skim. At least here in New South Wales, and most of my friends, we skimmed the first lockdown, but the second one had like a big impact on our lives because I was in school, so we had to do online learning, which was fun. That's sarcastic. But it was an interesting time, I reckon. I remember at that time I was trying to like build my own website. Never really got anywhere, but at one point in life I knew how to build a website using HTML, solely HTML, just like on a Word doc or something. You just input code and you convert the file or whatever, and you build your own like website without using like GoDaddy or Squarespace or whatever. I literally just built it using code. It was pretty primitive, but it did the job. But now I don't know how to do that. I wish I knew how to do that again. But yeah. So obviously, yeah, that's something that's been on my mind. The ABC article, how people view lockdown a little bit differently now. I guess business owners are thankful they're not living in the year 2020 anymore, even though they got a whole lot of issues now with like cost of living crisis. But some people have nostalgia for the year 2020 already, and I remember thinking 2020, man, no one wants to live in 2020. But some people, some people at least state that they have nostalgia for 2020. I don't know if they mean it. I don't know if other people are going to join in. I don't know if like in 10 years time, people are going to go like, oh, 2020, had its issues, but it's a much simpler time, when we were all worried about COVID, But I'm telling you, 2020 was not fun. I'm not seeing that through rose-tinted glasses whatsoever. But anyway, I can close that book. And yeah, so back onto my main, I guess, point before I got distracted. I was talking with this person, and obviously, narrowing down that career path. And, like I said in life, we're faced with a lot of, I guess, uncertainty. That's where I went on that, I guess, derailment when I started talking about the ABC article. But all this is relevant because, I'm a little bit uncertain right now. And I'm like, all right, should I go back into the retail or fast food sector? Or should I start looking for a full-time job? Looking for a full-time job makes sense, but where am I going to start? So, obviously, I've been going back and forth. I'm like, all right, what's my approach to this? I know if I'm gonna do an apprenticeship, it might not be paid, but I need to do some form of paid work by the end of the year. And I started thinking to myself, well, what if I want to go traveling at the end of the year? Should I stop, looking for a job? Because what if I go into a part-time job, don't have enough hours? I know that seems like a very silly thing to ask, but I thought to myself, why don't I just do an apprenticeship, like a couple of months, some training experience, scheme or program, just do some work experience, like sort of like casual work, and that way, by the end of the year, I can be on my own terms. I can, um, not stop it, but I would have finished my casual training or whatever, just racking up that experience, like in a JRPG where you like slay a bunch of enemies and you decide to take a break for a while. So that's what I might do. Obviously, with my current job hunting situation, I realized to myself, maybe I'm just looking in the wrong places. What if I, put that aside for now and try something new? So I reckon now with my job hunting thing, I don't think I'll be applying for part-time jobs right now, like retail and supermarkets and all that. What I think I'm going to do is just look for a full-time pathway. And I know I mentioned that earlier in the series, but I think now it's starting to become apparent that I need to use the resources around me, which was another thing I touched on not too long ago. Using the resources around me to get into a full-time job now, because I might have like a year head start compared to everyone else when they leave like university and all that. So I'll have a full-time, I guess, job hopefully in a few years. But what better way to, I guess, get your foot in the door than now? So yeah, I think through my conversation with that person, with my friend, I was just like, all right, well, now this is all starting to become clear, and I'm gonna take that risk. I'm gonna look for a traineeship or apprenticeship or just some work experience, because I feel like that's going to be very useful for me. And experience is very much key. Education experience, they open up a lot of pathways. So yeah, I think that's a new direction I'm taking, and I'm glad I didn't spend like a year trying to look for a part-time job, because let's face it, like you know spending a year trying to get like a supermarket job, I'd rather spend that year you know building up social connections. And at least in my state, that is, because I've already had enough of, I guess, part-time jobs. I can look for a pathway down a full-time career. So yeah, who knows, maybe life will take me in the complete opposite direction, maybe for my own good. Who knows? Life is very much unpredictable. That's why you know it's really like I don't try and, I guess, plan things thoroughly in life. Like whenever I'm on vacation, I'll use this instance when I'm on vacation. I don't plan like every hour what I'm gonna do. I just plan. All right, here's the hotels. Here's my flights. Here's all the essentials. As for activities, I'm just gonna write down like maybe a list. I want to do exploration. I want to make it flexible, because I know where I'm on holidays, the weather can change, things can change. Planning down, like, obviously it's good to plan out things, all the essential stuff, but I feel like we have to be ready for change. And um, you know, I like that sense of adventure in life. I like that sense of freedom, but like saying, all right, I'm gonna give myself maybe 1 or 2 hours to like explore this area. Then I'm like, wow, like you just walk. Sometimes I do things without planning it. Like there might be a movie on, for instance, that I haven't planned anything for. I didn't call up mates or whatever. I just saw it. I'm like, hey, this seems interesting. I'll just go watch it. Not every, I guess, movie has to be pre-booked. Or every experience that you have has to be pre-booked. Like if you want to go to a theme park or whatever, usually it's cheaper and more efficient to book beforehand. But yeah, like the adventure is in the everyday, and that's why I like walking. I don't like driving. I like using my feet because I've heard like all these quotes in life, like saying you don't see the world until you walk with your 2 feet or something like that. And as a walker, as an avid walker, I suck at running. I love walking. I really do see a lot more of the world by walking. Sometimes I, ride. I don't drive a car. I ride with someone else in a car and take a bus and all that. And it's nice. You get an experience out of it. You get to your destination, but you don't really, I guess, get to interact with the environment around you. You're just like, stuck in a car and you just get to the end point. But when you walk, it doesn't have to be long distance. It can be like 10, 20 minutes. You really get to see a lot more of the world around you. So that's why I like walking. I rather demolish my shoes every couple of months by walking like maybe 10K a day, which sounds like a lot, and it is a lot, but my legs are used to it. Because all my previous jobs required me like standing for like hours and hours on end. So since I'm out of a job, I'm like, I need to keep that momentum up. I need to like be active, because once you stop in life, it's really hard to get the cogs working again. So yeah, that's I guess why I walk a lot now, but I like it, and I can walk long distances without getting tired. I was thinking of doing like a walk, just like a very long walk, maybe like from maybe like Parramatta to the Sydney CBD along Parramatta Road, which is like 20 kilometers or 30 kilometers. Parramatta to the CBD. It's a long way. But I was thinking of doing that maybe one day. And, I can do it within a couple of hours. Hopefully. Maybe like a break here or there. But, I've been thinking about those walking challenges. And, yeah, I guess when you're overseas, you do walk a lot. Like, I remember when I was in Japan, I think I mentioned this. Like, I had a pair of like old Puma shoes. They were still in good shape or whatever. But when I left the country, literally they were shredded to pieces of how much I walked. Like the bottom of them, the bottom sole, the what do you call it? Like the foam that's in the shoe was like completely ripped. It actually exposed the plastic underneath. I don't know how I left the country like with shoes looking like that. Like they were just completely obliterated. And I think with these current pairs of shoes, because these shoes I've had, these Asics ones I bought all the way back in March, 3 months. Now they're starting to like there's little holes on the side because when you put your foot in and out, it wears fabric. They're still in good shape on the outside, but on the inside I can feel like they're slowly fading away. They're slowly degrading. I might buy a new pair of, I guess, running shoes maybe this week. But so far they hold up pretty well. I was thinking of keeping this until at least like Supernova, or maybe until like the outer fabric starts peeling off, or maybe when the gel inside loses its bounce, sort of. Because shoes are something you don't want to cheap out. Like the essentials. You don't want to cheap out on shoes because you don't want to get like foot pain later in life. But yeah, so. Listen, I don't mind if I have to go through a new pair of shoes every 3 to 6 months. Obviously, I walk every day. These are the only pair of runners I have. I only have one runners at a time because, what if they just have like a massive sale in the middle of the year? Then I would have missed out on that sale when I bought 2 pairs at once. Who knows? Maybe my foot size changes. So, yeah. And I've been all over the place today, but I guess this video here is sort of like a catch up on my life, and I know some of you may not care, maybe some of you do, and realistically, this is my life, right? I'm just like blabbing and whatever. I shouldn't I guess I wouldn't be upset if no one cares because it's like obviously me sort of thing. But no, I just feel like I want to, I guess, record down these experiences. I want to look back on this video like 20 years from now and think to myself, wow, things have changed. Or why did I think this back then, I want to see some change in my life. I want to see some change in these videos. So what better way to, I guess, see that change than to record that change? And what else has been in the news? Oh, yeah, pretty much same old, same old. you know, I was speaking to this person about Australian politics, where it's going to go. The current, yet again, I think I said this yesterday. The current political party in power in Australia is the Australian Labor Party. Um, which my prediction is, I think obviously there's no way the Liberals can win the election in 2028. They wouldn't have the, I guess, swing for that. As for One Nation, I'm a little bit uncertain. Like I said, I don't want them to rise, but they might pick up a few seats. I might be underestimating, but they'll certainly pick up seats in the next election. But I don't think they'll form a majority by their own, at least at the next election. Yet again, I can be wrong about this, even though I read a lot about Australian politics. I can always be wrong. And obviously, current Prime Minister Anthony Albanese, realistically, I think after 2028, he's most likely going to stay in power until like 2030 or maybe halfway. So maybe like 2029 or 2030, and then he's most likely going to retire. I'm calling it now because he came into power 2022. So by the end of the decade, he would have been in power for around 8 years. So that's a pretty long time. Like the longest, our longest serving Prime Minister was Sir Robert Menzies at 21 years, non-consecutive. That is, he had he had like a little break where he was out of office. John Howard is at number 2. He was in power for 11 years, and then number 3, I think it's like Bob Hawke. Bob Hawke, I knew he was in power for like 7 or 8 years, which is like in Australian politics, that's a long time, 7, 8 years. So, so assuming on the high end is around 8 years, then I guess Albanese, he could, recontest another election. Maybe he could do 2031 election, but I doubt it. So yeah, obviously Australian politics can go everywhere, but that's, I guess, what I predict. That, Labor, if they win 2028, which is most likely, but you never know. Albanese is going to stay on to Prime Minister, and maybe he'll retire around the year 2030, give it to someone else like Chalmers or Miles, or maybe someone else who I don't know. I just feel like, I want to make this video either outdated or, I guess, revolutionary in a sense. But, this video is most likely going to be outdated, let's face it. But yeah, so I can maybe close out a book about Ozpol. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And obviously, I'm still doing this video journal series. I've been looking, and some of my videos have been getting some views. Some of my videos have likes, but I'm not really concerned about the amount of subscribers or likes that I have. I'm really just concerned about comments. I haven't really gotten any comments as of now, but I really like to have some engagement with you guys. Just some of you people. I like to hear from others what they have to say about me and what they have to say about their own life. So in a sense, I want to make this series sort of interactive, but yet again, it'll take me a while. It's a long way to the top if you want to rock and roll. It will be a while before I start getting comments in and a dedicated fan base, or even 100 subscribers or 1,000 subscribers. It could be 10 years before I hit the those sort of milestones. It could be 10 years. It could be 20 years. It could be after this video journal's ended, and then suddenly everyone gets in a YouTube recommendations of this guy talking on camera for over 7,000 days on end. And to some extent, it is, it might seem a little bit, I guess, surreal watching this, or it might feel like, some guy going slightly insane because he's stuck inside these, like, 4 walls, the YouTube box. But, I enjoy making these. I enjoy making these videos, even if nobody watches them, And like I said, in life, you gotta go your own way. Sometimes, you gotta do stuff even if nobody's watching it. You can write a book, when no one will buy a copy, but you put your heart and soul into it, and that's it. Like, it just shows how much you care about something, even if you don't get popularity from it. That just shows you really are motivated to do something. And I think this video journal series, um, has like shown my motivation to record videos on myself every single day for 20 years. And even though I'm not getting like a whole lot of views out of it, I don't really care. Obviously, I'll like people to talk to and all that, but I think it's just shown to me that I really like this sort of idea. So obviously, I want to continue it. That's my little flame. Um, and obviously, what else was I going to talk about today? I was going to talk about a few other things. I might leave it for tomorrow or something like that, because obviously I don't want to run out of topics to talk about. I certainly got a lot to talk about. But I certainly want to touch up on like really, I guess, taking those pathways in life. Because all this stuff is relevant to me now. Obviously, in 10 years, I won't be talking about pathways. I'll be talking about my own issues. But this is the sort of stuff that's happening to me at 20 years old, right now here, 2026. So, like I said, I want to talk about things as they happen. I want to talk about what's happening around me right now. Maybe a little bit about the future, a little bit about the past, but mostly it's about the present. I'm just referencing a bunch of all my other videos here. But, so I guess to really conclude this video, if I had to summarize, pathways, they're complicated. We often feel, it doesn't matter what age you are, we feel a little bit, I guess, confused about which path to take, in life. We think we're going down the right path, but then it turns out it's the wrong path. Or you want to aim for one path, but life leads you around to another path. And certainly in terms of stuff that's been happening around me, trying to find a job, navigating my studies and all that, I think I'm on some of the right paths. With my education, I think I'm on the right path. But in terms of where I'm looking for jobs, I think I'm walking around a very long oval, let's say. Walking around a very long oval. I'm thinking to myself, all right, well, maybe I need to reconsider my options. Maybe I need to look somewhere else, and I'll leave myself on the right path. There have been plenty of instances in life where I aim to go down a certain path, and then life takes me the other way, and then I get initially infuriated by it, but then I look back, a couple of years time, I look back and I'm like, wow, that was really a good path that I went down. Like, luckily I didn't go down that path. So maybe it's one of those sort of situations, but you never really know until the time comes. Sometimes it may never come, but certainly in a few years, most likely. And yeah, obviously, it's not all doom and gloom. There's a lot of things I'm looking forward to in the coming weeks and months, which will keep me preoccupied. And who knows? Something might come up tomorrow, might come up next week. You never really know about a specific pathway. But I want to document my life. I want to document. I want to say these things in front of the camera, so then I can look back on it in the future, archive my thoughts and feelings, and yeah, that's been pretty much it. And is there anything else I want to say before I turn off the camera? Not really. But yet again, maybe I'll leave you with a nice message saying thank you for watching this video. Like I said, if you stuck around to the end, if you skimmed around the video, I don't blame you. A lot of it is, I guess, stuff that I previously mentioned. I know these videos can get somewhat repetitive. Who knows, maybe I'll repeat a video idea by accident, but I try to record these videos just talking about the experience from today, so that way they're always unique, Some videos I might do a review or something, or I might talk about one of my past life experiences, and that's fine, but I want to keep it mostly on what's been happening today. And obviously I do skim through the news and all that, but some days I just don't want to read the news, even though it's kind of relevant to what I'm studying, because a lot of just sad things happening around the world. And yet again, if you need to talk to someone, obviously do, someone who you trust, family member, friend, and all that, helpline. But you know, it's always nice to take a little break in life and to really step back from things. But yeah, so obviously, um, I guess I apologize if these videos seem a little bit fast paced, if I might seem a little bit annoying, if these videos are too centered on my life. But yeah, I guess this is just what I want to do. Sometimes this video journal series really just seems like a circus, like I'm just doing multiple acts. And that was evident in like I think the first 100 videos. I was really experimenting with stuff, but now I think I landed on something, to really focus on. I've always really had a main goal, that is just to upload a video every single day, but I didn't really think about what I was going to mention every single day. But now I just view this as like an archive of my life, essentially. An archive which has an end, because eventually archives do come to an end. So I'm like, all right, well, obviously, um, you know, I want to create an archive that has like an end date, which might be like, stabbing yourself in the foot, metaphorically, but um, this is what the video journal series was about. I came into this knowing that I wanted to end it someday, and I just want that period to be 20 years, 9th of February 2046. But anyway, I'll see what happens then. I know this is just like a nice little, I guess, um, you know, um, side note that I ended at the end of the video, just because I feel like, if you're new to the channel, you should most probably know that. Maybe you can view it from the description. But, I guess reminding myself what the purpose of this video journal series is. But anyway, I guess that's enough of me talking, and I guess I'll catch you all next time. Bye, see you, take care. Catch you all tomorrow.